Janis Thomas.
And do it, let's live it up and do it, and do it, and do it, do it, do it, let's do it.
One day, where do you hope your career will take you? Where do you hope that you might end up? I mentor a lot of people and I ask them this question. And I'm struck by how often people will say to me, oh, I'd like to become a specialist in this, or maybe I'd like to head up a department one day, or even maybe I'd like to start my own business. But very rarely do people say, one day I'd like to be a managing director or a CEO. And I'd like you to think about that. So if you had told me when I was 16 that one day I would be a managing director, I would be quite surprised. In fact, I look quite startled in that picture. And that's not really surprising if you think about the managing directors and CEOs that I have had in my career. In fact, for a very long time, I had actually worked for more companies that were led by men called Jeff than I had for companies that had a female CEO or managing director. Jeff and Jeff, yeah. So it wasn't just that those people didn't look like me. It was also that their style of leadership was very much that historic command and control. I am the leader, I have all the answers, I am going to tell you what to do. That really didn't resonate with me. So what do we do if we don't see the people who look like me? I don't see a lot of people who look like those guys in this room. I don't see a lot of people who are dressed like me today either. That's fine. So how do we go on that journey? Now, some of you, and a few of you in the audience, know me very well. And I love a spreadsheet. I love a graph, like I'm going on holiday soon. I've got 2 different spreadsheets, all of those things. So I was thinking about my journey, and so I drew this graph. And this graph is actually the seniority of my roles and my income throughout my career. And you can see the first half, it was fairly linear. I was getting some regular promotions. I was getting more money over time. Second half, oh no, that's definitely, much less stable. And that is okay. That is actually the experience of most people. It is not a linear journey. I have been made redundant 3 times in my career. I don't think that's anything to do with me or my skills. I think that was to do with the businesses I was working for at the time and what they needed. So if we're not on a linear journey, is there a different model that helps us think about the path of our career? So I think of my career as a bingo card. I am collecting what might seem like quite random skills and experience. So, for example, I have done everything from build and launch one of the first streaming entertainment platforms in the UK, even before Netflix was doing streaming, to organizing Hugh Hefner's 80th birthday party. So, as we go through our career, if we can collect more random skills and experience, one day they will come together in a line that is totally unique to you, which will make you perfect for a role in the way that nobody else could be. And I also find this bingo card model useful because it's full of blanks, because we all have skills and experience that we have to gain to get to the next step in our career. There are things that we know that we have to do, but we also have blind spots. There are also things that we don't do well that other people can see in us, and those are really valuable. So I didn't actually end up spending my entire career working for companies run by men, fortunately. One day I worked for this amazing woman called Savannah Sachs at Birchbox. And one of the things that really struck me about Savannah was that her leadership style was very different. She was all about creating a culture where people could come together and do their best work. She was about fostering collaboration. And I thought, do you know what? I could see myself being a managing director like her. And she could see one of my blind spots, and she very kindly told me about it. And she said to me one day, you need to work on your communication skills. And I was absolutely outraged by this. How dare she? I'm up here speaking to you today. I feel quite comfortable with that. I'm fairly articulate. I also trained as a copywriter, so I can write clearly and persuasively. So what's the problem here? Fortunately, I respected Savannah and I listened to her and I started to dig into it. And I realized what I was great at was broadcast. Whereas actually, what's really important in communication is how your message is received by the person that you're communicating, how it makes them feel. And once I started to work on that and realized not just that, but there were a lot of soft skills that I hadn't really been focused on. I'd always been like, oh, digital marketing skills, SEO skills, e-commerce skills, technical skills. And I was like, oh, actually, there's a whole field that I've kind of largely ignored, which I hope you're embarking on today because you're at Confidence Live. So you're thinking about those soft skills. And once I started on that journey really accelerated my career. Now, I'm sure you're thinking, well, this is all very well, but how am I possibly ever going to get all the skills and experience that I need to run a company? Well, the secret is I don't do it by myself. I am surrounded by a team of people who have skills and experience that I don't have. Each one of them does their job much better than I ever could. And together, we feel the skills and experience we need to run this company. So I hope that has given you something to think about today, and I hope you will think again about where your career might take you one day.